What's good, everybody? It's your boy TKB, aka That King Boo. After completing Wulong's Fallen Dynasties campaign and now starting my New Game Plus walkthrough, I thought it would be time to give you guys a beginner's guide so that you can get started off on the right foot. Here are 10 essential tips and tricks that you will need to conquer Wulong. Before I get this video started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It will be well appreciated. Now let's get on with the video. The first and most important tip is learning how to deflect an enemy's attack. Deflecting is at the core of Wulong's combat. It's essential that you get this down because if you don't, you'll have a hard time getting past the first boss. Wulong's combat is a mix between Neo and Sekiro. That means it's fast-paced and it heavily relies on parrying. There are enemies that can hit you with a fury of lightning fast combos that are damn near impossible to roll out of and will fill up your spirit gauge if you try to block them. In order to master the art of deflection, you must always look for an opportunity to parry. Do not panic and double tap the deflect button because that will activate dodge since they share the same button. Just calm down and make it a habit to tap the deflect button once and perfectly time every strike in order to perform a successful deflection. At the start of the game before fighting the first boss, I want you to find this tiger demon and fight him repeatedly until you learn how to deflect properly. He is tough, but once you understand the art of deflection, you can farm him for chi so you can level up faster. The second tip on this list goes hand in hand with tip number 1, and that is the spirit gauge. The spirit gauge is located under your health bar. This controls the flow of combat for you and your enemy. When the bar is blue and is filling up to the right side of the gauge, that means you have positive spirit. Your goal should be to increase your spirit gauge as much as possible when you're attacking enemies and deflecting their attacks, so you can spend this positive energy and perform wizardry spells, martial arts, or spirit attacks. Spirit attacks can cause damage to your enemy's health and shrink their spirit gauge. The more positive spirit you have, the stronger the spirit attack will be. On the other hand, when the bar is orange and is going to the left, this means you're building negative spirit. If you consistently take damage, block or spam wizardry spells, martial arts, and spirit attacks, you will accumulate negative spirit within your spirit gauge. Once your spirit meter is fully depleted or broken, you will be staggered and left vulnerable. To avoid getting to this point, land successful attacks on the enemy, deflect incoming attacks, and if things get really bad, just simply run away. Same thing goes for your enemy. Once their spirit gauge is broken, the enemy will stagger. When this happens, you can perform a fatal blow that will deal massive damage and decrease their morale ranking. Tip number 3 will be going over morale ranking. Your morale rank can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. If you can master step 1 and 2, then implement step 3, you can eat a boss alive and regular enemies will be just child's play. If not, you will just get dragged. Both you and your enemy's morale rank is located above the health bar. To increase your morale ranking, all you have to do is defeat enemies. However, if you are killed by an enemy or hit by a critical blow, your morale ranking will decrease. To prevent this, be sure to collect all the marker flags and battle flags located in different areas around the map. Marker flags increase your morale rank by 1, while battle flags increase your rank by 2 and doubles as a resting place for your character. Collecting these flags will activate the fortitude rank mechanic that prevents your morale ranking from dropping when you die or hit by a critical blow. Gathering all these flags are important because if your morale rank is higher than your enemies, you will take less damage from their attacks. But if your morale rank is lower than your enemy, you will receive more damage from their attacks. Gathering these flags is the best way to prepare for bosses because if you don't collect enough flags, you could get beat up. To keep track of how many flags you've collected, look at the top right of the screen next to the map. At the top, you will see the fortitude ranking. Below that is battle flags, and under that is marker flags. Moving on to tip number 4. In order to unlock your character's full potential, you will need to understand how stats work. After defeating an enemy, they will drop something called genuine chi. Spending genuine chi in one of the 5 virtues will increase your character's level and stats. Wood virtue will significantly increase your HP. It also reduces the amount of spirit you lose when you're hit, and it also increases spell duration. Fire virtue increases the amount of spirit gained by hitting enemies with normal attacks and reduces the spirit cost of your martial arts. Earth virtue increases your equipment weight limit, allowing you to wear heavier equipment. like heavy armor. Increasing your max weight limit will also increase your mobility and increase the amount of spirit gained from deflecting enemy attacks. Metal Virtue is the best for people who want to use wizardry spells, because this allows spells to consume less spirit when you cast them. It also increases spirit sustainability, meaning when you have built up positive spirit, this will allow it to stick around longer before it gets back to normal. Water Virtue reduces the spirit cost of your deflects and increases your stealth, making it harder for enemies to detect you, so you can perform backstabs more efficiently. For tip number 5, I'll be going over the skill tree. Piggybacking off of tip number 4, when you invest points into one of the 5 virtues, you will unlock wizardry spells. The more points you invest in a virtue, the more wizardry spells you will unlock within the skill tree. Keep in mind, there are requirements in order to use these abilities. You will be unable to use wizardry spells if you haven't put enough points within the virtue to unlock it. Also, each spell has a second requirement based on your morale rank. For instance, some spells will require 0 morale rank in order to cast them, while others require a higher morale rank. This is why building up your morale by gathering marker flags and battle flags in order to utilize the fortitude rank mechanic is important. The 6th tip on this list will explain how elemental counters work. Wizardry spells are based on the 5-phase theory, in which each of these phases interact with the other in certain ways. By understanding this, you can counter a wizardry spell itself, as well as the positive and/or negative effects caused by it. Now, I will explain which element to use in order to counter another element. Wood counters earth, earth counters water, water counters fire, fire counters metal, and metal counters wood. Pay attention to what element an enemy is using, because it will be vulnerable to the element that counters it. So that means if an enemy is scorching you with fire attacks, use water against them. Tip number 7 will go over Divine Beast. Divine Beasts are the same as Spirit Guardians from Neo. These celestial creatures are based on Chinese mythology. They are powerful and can turn the tide of battle in your favor. Each Divine Beast corresponds with one of the 5 virtues and can make use of its respective element. They can be summoned in one or 2 ways. When the Divine Beast gauge is completely full, press Y and B at the same time. When summoned, the Divine Beast will attack nearby enemies. Pressing X and A at the same time will activate Divine Beast Resonation. This will apply elemental damage to your weapons along with other effects. With Divine Beasts, elemental counters go out the window because their ability cannot be neutralized by the 5 phases. This means if an enemy is immune to fire due to them using water-based attacks, a Divine Beast specializing in the fire phase can still burn them. Moving on to tip number 8, make sure that your armor stays up to par. Make sure to always upgrade your character's armor, because having extra defense and doing more damage will make things easier as you progress through the story. Enemies will get tougher, especially bosses, so always visit the blacksmith, who you fully unlock in part 3 of the story, located within the hidden village. Armor has passive bonuses called special effects that will give you an edge in battle. There is a star ranking system that will determine how many special effects a piece of armor has based on the number of stars there are, with 4 being the highest. If there is a special effect that you are not particularly fond of, you can replace it with one that suits you when you use the embedment mechanic at the blacksmith. Armor also has set bonuses that will boost your character's stats and have other unique effects. Each armor set has a set number of pieces you have to collect in order to receive all the set bonuses. To check your set bonuses, hit the pause button, go to equipment, then tap the X button to go into special effects details. Make your way to set bonuses and you will see how many pieces you have of a armor set, and below that you will see the stat bonuses it provides. So if you're interested in crafting a certain build, always check these set bonuses to make sure you're on the right path. Tip number 9 is to make sure your regular stats and your weapon stats match. Synergy matters if you want your character to reach their full potential. For example, if you wield a weapon that scales with lightning and metal virtues, make sure your stats mirror that in order to receive the added bonuses. Later on in the game, if there is a weapon that you want to switch to but your stats don't match, go talk to Zhu Shi in the hidden village to respec your stats. Having a good understanding of build synergy and Wulong will allow you to come up with builds that will take your character to the next level. The 10th and final tip is alliances. In almost every mission in Wulong, there will always be a companion with you. They will make things easier when fighting enemies because they can pull aggro. Companions also have passive buffs that will be applied to you. When your oath level with them reaches a certain point, they will gain an additional passive buff. You can level up your companions by defeating enemies or by using cups of cordiality that actually level them up even faster. Unfortunately, cups of cordiality are rare. They are dropped by enemies, found in treasure chests, or spawn on the floor. Once your companion reaches level 10, you get their armor set, and it will be of the highest rarity with great effects. If you find yourself without a companion, you can summon them by spending 1 tiger seal. If you're short on tiger seals and you need to farm them, look for enemies with this purple aura around their morale level. This means that this enemy has defeated another player, and if you cut them down, you will be rewarded with a tiger seal for avenging that player. So, if you're looking to get some powerful gear or need assistance, always seek companionship. Hopefully this video was informative. If it was, please like and subscribe. If I missed any tips in this video, please let me know down in the comment section. By any chance that you haven't seen my review of Wulong's Fallen Dynasty, go check it out. The link will be in the description below. Also, don't forget to tap that notification bell in order to stay up to date on my new content. Be safe out there, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.